Hey there everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm your host, and today we're diving into a topic that affects many renters and landlords alike. How do rent increases work legally? Whether you're a tenant trying to understand your rights or a landlord wanting to know the rules, we've got you covered. But first, have you ever wondered why your rent goes up and what legal guidelines govern those increases? Let's unravel the mystery behind rent increases and discover exactly what you need to know. To begin with, let's clarify what a rent increase is. Simply put, it's when a landlord raises the amount of money they charge for renting a property. In most cases, landlords are legally allowed to increase rent, but there are rules and regulations they must follow. These can vary significantly depending on the location, so it's essential to know your rights according to local laws. First, let's talk about the common scenarios in which a rent increase may occur. Many leases are structured to allow for annual increases, typically tied to inflation or determined by a fixed percentage. According to a survey by the National Multifamily Housing Council, around 69% of landlords reported raising rents in 2021, with an average increase of about 3 to 5%. This is fairly standard, especially in markets where demand is high. Now, let's look at how state laws play a crucial role in rent increases. In states like California, for example, there are strict rent control laws that limit how much a landlord can increase rent annually, typically to 5% plus the local rate of inflation, or 10%, whichever is lower. This means that if you're living in a rent-controlled apartment, your landlord must adhere to these guidelines or face legal consequences. In contrast, states like Texas have no statewide rent control laws, which allows landlords to set their own rates. It's important for tenants in such states to understand that rent increases can be substantial. Next, let's discuss notice requirements. Most jurisdictions require landlords to provide notice before increasing rent. This notice period can vary, but is usually between 30 to 60 days. For instance, New York requires landlords to give tenants at least 30 days notice for month-to-month leases, while in some states, like Florida, the notice period can be as short as 15 days. Remember, if you don't get the proper notice, you might have grounds to contest the rent increase. Another important factor is the lease agreement itself. If you're on a fixed-term lease, your rent cannot be increased until the lease expires unless otherwise stated in the contract. For example, if you signed a one-year lease for $1,200 per month, your landlord cannot raise your rent until that year is over, unless there's a specific clause that allows for it. But what if you're on a month-to-month lease? In that case, your landlord can increase your rent more easily, as long as they follow the proper notice period. Market conditions also play a significant role in rent increases. For example, if demand for rental properties rises in a neighborhood due to new job opportunities or developments, landlords may be tempted to raise rents. According to Zillow, in 2021, rents across the U.S. rose by an average of 14%, driven by high demand and low inventory. However, just because a landlord can increase rent doesn't mean they should. Responsible landlords consider how their tenants might react and the potential for turnover if the rent becomes unaffordable. A good landlord-tenant relationship can sometimes outweigh the potential financial gains from a rent hike. Lastly, communication is key. If you receive a notice of a rent increase that you feel is unjustified, don't hesitate to reach out to your landlord for a discussion. You might find that negotiating a smaller increase is possible, especially if you've been a long-term tenant who pays on time. In summary, understanding how rent increases work legally can empower both tenants and landlords. Remember to check your local laws, review your lease agreements, and maintain open communication. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Until next time, stay informed and empowered.